Good evening, everybody, or anybody. As usual, I shall give it a minute or two for people to join in, and then we'll get underway with the week's roundup of running action. In a different part of my house today, we're in the dining room, or dining area, because it's like living room, dining area, all one. For those that have been around here, we've had a few Badgers committee meetings here in the past. So the BMG, I'm sure, will be au fait with the layout. Apologies for the slightly later time this week. I've had quite a battle on my hands with the results processing. It's been changing the distance isn't as straightforward as you'd think in trying to work out handicaps and all the rest of it, and it's taken quite a lot longer than I thought it would have done. Evening, DC. How are you doing? Good, I hope. So, yeah, I thought I'd just give myself a little bit more time this evening to try and get it put to bed, which I've done, which is good news. It's a bit of a pointless broadcast, really. So I hear the results, but we haven't got any. This isn't the US presidential elections, you know. Although and that hasn't finished yet either. There's still four states still to declare, I believe. Hello, Vicky. Good to see you on board. We've got 19 people now watching, according to my little thing on the top of the screen. So we'll soon be underway with some real action rather than just waffle. Evening, just me. John's glued to the villa. Yeah, apologies. I know there's probably a few people watching the football or Strictly or whatever else. So I'd like to say, I'd just like to say apologies really to anyone who supports Aston Villa. Not because you're missing the football, but just sorry that you support Aston Villa. So it must be tough. Anyway, Adam, what's he got to say for himself? Got the same T-shirt. It's a quality one, this. It's number 4 because it's the 4th week of the tournament. So I thought that's quite good. On the back, which you may or may not be able to read. It's a Hit Parade wedding present, 1992 vintage. This. So this T-shirt is actually 28 years old. Goodness me, that makes me feel like I should get some new clothes. Anyway, Chris Davis, good evening to you. And Gavin, are you sure, son? My football team, fantasy football, had a great year 2 years ago. Won everything I was in, and then last year was a bit of a disappointment, but did all right. And then this year, just whatever I do, it's just going Pete Tong. This week, I've cost myself 4 points again by making an extra transfer. I bought Harry Kane in, and I got rid of Bruno Fernandes to free some cash up. What does Fernandes do? Scores 2 goals, man of the match, makes another. Got a brilliant display. Kane bags a lucky late winner against West Bromwich Albion. And I think I did the same the week before. I bought Son in from Spurs after he'd been on fire for ages and he did nothing. I bought Aguero in, cost me another 4 points the other week, and he played 45 minutes and went off injured, so I had to get rid of him the week after. I think, yeah, that's right. Bought Aguero in. I took out Patrick Bamford from Leeds. He scored a hat-trick against the Villa. I mean, that's probably easy enough, isn't it, really, scored a hat-trick against Villa. But, yeah, just whatever I do, it seems to be the kiss of death. So if anyone out there is into fantasy football and got a chance of winning their league this year, because I certainly haven't, let me know what you want to do and I'll scupper a player for you by bringing him into my team or getting rid of somebody in my team, and they'll be guaranteed to have a fantastic week as soon as they're out the Horton setup. Right. Anyway, 26 people on board now, so we'll crack on because some of us have been up since 5 o'clock this morning looking after a little boy. Right, we have some team scores we'll do first. We have a new team winner this week. It was quite close as well. Certainly the top 4 sides, I think, were the one much to choose between them. But it was Adam McElhone's team who won. Peaky Grinders, I think they're called, and they pick up 10 points this week. So well done if you're in that team. Second was top of the table, Hannah Craig's Cool Runnings team. They pick up 8 points, so they were on top, and now they're on top by even more, obviously. Third was Robert Boland's team of Giant Striders, very narrowly in third as well. They're very, very close to second. That was the smallest margin, I think, between 2 teams. So well done if you're in Rob's team. Then it was Maggie Sabin Barden's team who picked up 4th place with another good all-round score. Steph White, she was 5th. Well, her team, sorry, was 5th. I think they won last week, if I remember rightly. And then we had Nikki Bowman in 6th place. Dave Jackson's team were in 7th, and Gavin Crockwell's team bringing up the rear. So that means the scores on the doors for the league in 8th place. And this, these tables are as it stands at the moment, but I was proposing to drop the worst 2 performances over the course of the season. So even if you're languishing, like Adam's team was languishing up until this week, and they picked up 10 points, so all of a sudden they're climbing up the table. And if you're in the basement, as it were, and you pick up 3 wins in the next 3 weeks, well, all of a sudden you're right up there. So there's still all to play for. At the bottom is Gavin's team with 9. Then Adam, who's hauled himself off the bottom with 15 points. 1 behind Dave Jackson in 6th place. He's got 16, who himself is just 1 behind 5th, which is Steph White in 17. There's still not much of a gap. You've got Rob Boland with 20 points. I should remember right down the name of the teams rather than the captain. It's just easy for me to remember. Rob Boland's is Giant Striders. Steph White is White's Wobblers. Queen Mother Blues, Dave Jackson. Adam McElhone is Peaky Grinders. And Gavin's team, Team Sky Blue. 3rd place with 22 points is Nikki Bowman. Means in 2nd place it's our brilliant baking boffin Maggie Sabin Barden. She's got 24 points, and way out in front now with a 9-point cushion is Hannah Craig's team, Cool Runnings. So well done to everybody in Cool Runnings' team, doing well. And interesting as well, there's as I expected, there are people having to drop out for various reasons, and it just seems to be they're concentrated in certain teams. I think Hannah's team have been blessed by having good health all the way through this tournament, and I don't think anyone's missed a run so far. And with 1 or 2 teams like that, where everyone's been able to run and run well. One of our star performers of the tournament, I'd say, has been Nicola Stanley. She's run brilliant, and unfortunately, I think she dislocated her elbow, so she's going to be out for the rest of the tournament at least. So we all wish her well, and of course everyone else has had to sort of pull out through injury or one reason or another. And we do wish you the best over the coming weeks. Okay, so that's the leagues as it stands with the teams. Individually, perhaps no surprise, our fastest man yet again was Aaron Chetwynd. Not only was just the fastest man, but he'd actually eclipsed the club record. He ran 4:50, and I think he ran a 5-minute miler or something as well, which on a course it didn't looked a bit twisty and turny with a few little ups and downs in it. So he went out again, I think, did a 4:50. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And he's in great form at the moment. I think he's broke the 5-mile club. These won't count as club records because they're not official races, but he's run the distance. And it's probably in some ways it's actually harder because you're not in that environment where you've got all these other people to chase or push you along and whatnot. So yeah, it's extra special, I think, to have done it in these circumstances. And it's probably the best club record in the club. I think the mile record. I'm only saying that because I've got it. It's not really. It's a good record, but it's. I don't think there's many people in the club who've actually raced a mile. I was trying to list them, and I've run about 5, I think. I know Danny's run a couple because the first one we did together, and he won it. I was 4th, and John Hanson was in it as well. A bit further back, Rachel Warren has run one because she's the female club record holder with a time of 7:01, and Alan Argyle I know has run one as well. I think he ran the same one that Rachel did and Danny, and I know Chris Baxter's run a couple as well of the Dave Denson ones, which is ARC licensed up in Derby. So, but there's not really, we're not very experienced as runners, I suppose, in this mile discipline. There's quite a few people did one in the Leicestershire Lockdown League. Again, not a proper race as such, but we've done it. So hopefully you all enjoyed it, and I think there's probably a lot of room for improvement. Not it's much of the times, but I think the way that you can approach it, the way you run it, and it's good to see people really thinking about their course strategy, where they're going to go, and like Aaron, for example, picking a course out, having a look at it, thinking, I could probably go a bit quicker quicker somewhere else on a better course, and going out later in the week on exactly the same premise on a better course, and ends up with a 10-second quicker time. The fastest lady was Becky Harris, perhaps not surprisingly. She ran 6:35, which was a long way inside the club record for ladies. So well done to Becky, excellent run once again. She was joined by Cheryl Dewis, who ran 6:50, which again is inside the club record. Cheryl's a little bit older than Becky, so extra kudos to you there, Cheryl. And Charlene Dunn was our third fastest lady. She ran 7:06, which is a fantastic time. It's 5 seconds outside of the club record. But Charlene's just come back to running the last couple of weeks from having had a baby, so I think that's a fantastic achievement. And credit to all three ladies there, because I think they've all done particularly well. In the men, you might have seen my post on Facebook already. I think yesterday. Our fastest man was Aaron, but the second fastest man was Glyn Broadhurst. He ran 4:57, which is a fantastic time. To try and get on an under 5 minute mile is at club level, I think, is something special. So Glyn's done it, but not only in doing that, he's actually gone over the 80% WAVA rating, and that is a very, very hard thing to do. I would say only 3 other people in the club have ever done that, and he's got 81.74% on the back of that performance. So very well done to Glyn. He's in great form, as is Aaron. So I was third. I did 5:04. Pipe down, the dog's barking. There's no fireworks, but if she keeps on, I'll bring her in. And she's not in the garden, by the way. She's in the conservatory. I'm not that cruel. It's pissing it down in rain. Anyway, yeah, I ran a 80.47 WAFA rating. You don't need to know that. I'm not affiliated. I just ran because it was a bit of fun. Although I did try my hardest. I couldn't have gone any faster. Dave McGowan ran well as well. He did 5:12. So they were the fastest of the boys. There's probably stacks of personal bests out there that we can talk about, but because people haven't raced the distance a great deal, it could be like 90% of you have got personal bests. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to let the dog into the living room. Come on. Good dog. Oh, sorry about that. Right. So where were we? We were talking about personal bests. So there's probably not many people who haven't got personal best, just on the basis that they haven't run a mile race before, or not very many of them. So we'll skip through that, and we shall look at the actual race individual winners. We have in third place we had SJ Chetwynd with a cracking run. Again, another lady in the club who's come back from childbirth in recent weeks. She was third best runner overall. Second place was Mr. 5K himself, Chris Davis. He was a fantastic time. I can't remember what it was now because I think times are made and stuff, but it was really good. I didn't write it down, but it was a really impressive time. And our winner this week is the first captain to have won a race this season, and it is Adam McElhone, who not only won the race individually, but his team won the race. There's obviously a link there, because if he did particularly well, that's going to bring his team's average up. So leading from the front, I think it's fair to say. So well done to Adam. You don't win a prize, but fair play to you. You get lots of kudos. In terms of other standout performances from the teams, in Maggie's team, her man of the match, well, 2 of them would be SJ, obviously because she was third, and Hannah Merry had a particularly good run. In Hannah's team, Hannah Craig, she again led from the front. I think she was top 10 in terms of her individual placings. And Dave Bailey had an exceptional run. In Rob Boland's team, Chris Davis was a standout performer. In Adam's team, obviously it was the captain himself. And then in Dave Jackson's team, it was Aaron and Glyn, who I mentioned before, with 2 absolutely stunning runs. And then in Gavin's team, Charlene Dunn was the pick of the team there with an excellent performance. And in Nicky's team, Cameron Barnes, he had a particularly good performance. I think he went well under 6 minutes. And Steph White's top person was Angela Stallings. So well done, Angela, because she won our first race, I believe, and she obviously found a bit of good form. I think she's doing or has just done a half marathon. So well done. If you have done it, Angela, I'll look out for it on Strava, and if you haven't, good luck when you come to do it. Anyway, that's enough of my waffle. I'd put some stuff on about, I think it's the top 20 people out in terms of where people are in the league, individual league at the moment. And then I realised I'd made one small mistake, because I think I missed out a couple of people's times off the first race, namely Kerry Clover and Jason Clover, I think, because they were unaffiliated, and I suspect they might end up featuring the top 20. So I will revisit that at some point this week. And there are a couple of comments from people wanting to see the whole chart, which is I'm not going to do that. But if you do individually want to see where you are, or want to know where you are and how many points you've got, that's fine. Just drop me a message and I'll tell you where you are. But I really didn't want the whole thing going out, because I don't want people then coming back questioning how come I was there on this race. And also the whole purpose of this is to engage people into running and give them a focus and a goal and team build. And I don't want people to feel demoralised in any way, because there is going to be somebody at the bottom. And to be honest, the vast majority, I think, of people in this tournament have run their socks off. So it could be that you've had a great tournament, but yet you end up sort of like, I don't know, 75th out of 88 runners, and you think, well, hang on, I've done really well here, and you have, you genuinely have. I don't want to, these are tough times for people in so many different ways at the moment. I just really don't want to risk demoralising or upsetting anybody. By seeing their position in the grand scheme of things. I know some people would be quite thick-skinned about it and be quite okay, but we're all built differently, and that's the way it's going to be. But if you want to know where you are personally, drop me a message and I'll get the information back to you in the week. This week we're on the 10k trail, so hopefully, I know one or two of you have already been out. I saw Merv Jones. I was taking the little one out on a bike yesterday, and he was coming back down Ratcliffe Road, and that guy was working his socks off. He was really, really trying. So, how his time will stack up in the grand scheme of things, we shall find out this time next week. But yeah, he was really giving it some welly, and I know he's not the only one, because there's plenty of you out there that are really, going above and beyond. And I say it's probably difficult for a lot of people to actually, to pull the performances out. You're not in a race environment. You're in uncharted territory with COVID and everything else going on. We're in lockdown again, so there's lots of anxious moments and worries for people, and to go out and perform as you are, generally speaking, it's really, I feel quite humbled by the one who's put this on for you, and watching the results coming in, thinking, God, these guys are doing really, really well. Just turn up and loafing around sort of thing, thinking, oh, there's a time, there you go, I'll put that one in. And you guys are really, really, really trying, and it is quite humbling to see. So there you go. Right, I think that's probably enough from me. I'll just go switch over and see how many the Villa are losing by, and good luck to Arsenal in tonight's match. I don't support Arsenal, by the way, but I do wish them well. And I wish Jack Grealish well as well, because he's in my fantasy football team. Such a turncoat, aren't I? If anyone's wondering what this is, this is a music band T-shirt from 1992. Here's the dog, he's come to say hello. Adam will know this, but The Wedding Present, who are one of my favourite bands, released a single every month for the 12 months of the year, that to therefore equal Elvis Presley's record of having the most top 40 entries in one calendar year. Number 4 was Silver Shorts, which was the April one. I think I bought about 3 or 4 of these T-shirts. I think this is the only one that I've actually got left. I think I had one nicked at the Glastonbury Festival in '93 when I went there, and some of the ones just didn't stand the test of time. So there you go. That's a little boring fact for you. I'll let you crack on to your Strictly or whatever it is that you're watching on the telly these days. I don't really get much out of the telly other than a bit of news and a bit of CBeebies, really, and that seems to do me. Anyway, we'll see you next. Not sure what time next week. We'll let you know near the time. Good luck with your 10Ks. Keep that feedback coming in. Also, on a separate note to the Super League, it's Remembrance Sunday, I think, on Wednesday this week. What I was going to suggest doing, if anyone wants to, is to do an 11k or an 11-mile run. And if you can do that, and then tell me your time, and there's no pressure to actually run a fast time or anything like that. I'm just thinking of things that we can send to the newspaper for a bit of publicity for the club, and also to help the paper out, who've given us a lot of coverage, but they're desperately short on copy at the moment because so many sports have been cancelled or postponed because of COVID. So they're grateful for anything that we can send. But yeah, if you want to go out and do an 11-mile run or 11k run, that would be great. And if the more people we can get doing it, the better. If you can send me a picture of yourself in action or at the start or the finish, that would be great. And if we can have some sort of, I don't know, some red sort of colours to it to sort of signify the poppy, that would be even better still, because I can just envisage a nice sort of spread of us all, like we did for VE Day with the sort of the red, white and blue colouring. I think we could do a similar sort of thing this week. So if anyone's interested in doing that, that's great. Appreciate, we can't run together or in little groups and stuff at the moment. You can run with one other person who's not in your household. But yeah, if we can get lots of pictures in, that would be great. And there's no set time as to when to do it, because I know I'll be at work during the day, but I can normally sort of like nip out for a lunch hour or something and work a bit later in the evening if necessary to make the time up. Other people haven't got that flexibility. Whatever suits you, and so there's no pressure to do it. It's just something I think would be good, especially for those who do like to remember the sacrifices that our armed forces have made over the last 100 years or more. We're not be able to sort of like go and pay our respects in the usual fashion. It would be good to remember them in some other significant way. So there we go. Right, on that note, I shall leave you to it, and have yourselves a good evening, and we'll speak to you all very shortly. Thanks then.